Good morning once again, everybody. We are going to touch more on the conspiratorial side of things with the topic of predictive programming, and at least one of the more recent examples of predictive programming. So, the general concept, and before I get into the rest of this, of course, for entertainment purposes only. Predictive programming is essentially tied to a belief that before a quote unquote shadowy elite can do anything in particular on the main stage, that they have to prep the stage by pumping out the message of what the overall plan to do is into the media. Now, with the mm, well, there's no nice, fun, off the cuff way to say it. With the rapid elimination of Charlie Kirk, a lot of people looked back and found the movie Snake Eyes, and this is kind of problematic because, of course, it is just another example of oddly specific, just close enough. All right. Also ties into Philip K. Dick when he started noticing plot lines that he might write. I forget the exact incident, but there was one incident. I think it was at a gas station or something. But essentially, plot lines that he was writing, he was noticing in real life. And this question keeps coming up: does life imitate art, or does art imitate life? All right. Ties into the same general Gnostic knowledge of as above, so below, as within, so without. Um, Things just oddly mingled together. Okay. Now, of course, I have to tie this in. Of course, I have to tie this in with my own kind of push. All right. Because if you've been sticking around for a little bit, you know that I am particularly prone to recommend that anybody and everybody should try to communize, whether that's with family, whether that's with friends, whether that's with coworkers, doesn't particularly matter as long as they're de- decent, trustworthy people who aren't gonna just throw you under the bus. The people who actually make the effort. All right, that is fundamentally the thing. People who are willing to make the effort. The reason why I push so hard for communization, all right, for mostly the young, but I suppose also middle age and old also benefit. Every age benefits from it. We have multi generational households becoming a thing again. It's gonna expand. One household's gonna talk to another, gonna talk to another, gonna talk to another, and then all of a sudden they're working on projects together and things are actually rolling and happening, how real production actually happens now, since God forbid we do that in this country anymore. But the reason why I push it so hard, there's a reason, all right? For a solid chunk of time, everything was zombie apocalypse. Everything was crafting survival and post apocalyptic zombie survival. Okay. But zombies in particular, why in the hell did everybody have this knack for zombies? One, it's kind of impossible to run out of storylines you can use in the undead apocalypse. All right. Plenty of examples to show human beings at their best and at their worst. Plenty of different ways to make things pop, make things stick in people's minds. But why was there such a big push on survival? These things don't just fall out of the sky. It isn't just the fact that people were actively, growing the interest in it where they wanted to see more. A large part of it is also part of this predictive programming. Okay. There's a reason why you consistently, over time, it's been increasing, especially post 2008. There's a reason why the predictive programming has been more crafting survival apocalyptic. It's because they're trying to prime you, same way I try to recommend to you. The system is priming you for survival. It is priming you to start forming those groups, whether it's, just communes, whether it's mutual assistance groups, MAGs. The system, the message is out there. All right. Now, a certain amount of the messaging comes from top level sovereign. All right. There is definitely military interest in the idea of, well, shit, if everything went to hell, obviously we need people to be able to get back up on their own feet again, because if the system is so broken that it can't respond, the only way that you could potentially regain power and rebuild the country again into one full country is if you have a bunch of groups working together towards their own survival, because the sad reality is, if we have one dramatic power outage, parts of the country will go without electricity for a while. If we have an EMP, we're screwed. All right, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be the zombie apocalypse. This is the thing. Like, everybody will focus on the zombie aspect to it. It doesn't have to be the zombie apocalypse. All right. Yeah, the zombies need brains, but if there's a mass global starvation, the zombies need not brains. Same thing. People who are, just people who don't have free and easy access to resources are going to essentially be acting like those zombies. They're just ruthless, nonstop self interest, doing everything they possibly can to take what they can from the groups that are going to be developing everything. All right. If we have an EMP in this country, if there was an electromagnetic pulse, whether it's the enemies of this country or whether the sun just hits us with a super ejection, and for once in quite a while, we're in the way of it. And, the US, at least the Western countries, conveniently, the globe is turned that direction and we take a full broadside from it. You're talking about over like 80-90% of the population dead within a month. All right, you'd have starvation, looting, none of your cars would work, your computers, the electronic ordering systems for the stores, the semi trucks, the diesel emission fluid dries up, and all hell breaks loose. How the hell does anything function? This is the thing. Last time it happened, I think it was the Carrington event. It set the oh fuck, where are they? Telegraph lines. It set the telegraph lines on fire. All right, and it took, given we weren't exactly massively electronically built up yet, we weren't mass integrated, so the damage was restricted. But if you look at the modern landscape, could you imagine just instantly what happens when everybody's phone fails, when everybody's car doesn't start, when all fucking hell breaks loose? And this is the thing. Mm, This is the thing you have to understand. Because when I was younger, I grew up in a small city, I guess. There's one thing in particular that is a good sign and a bad sign. First and foremost, if you live with women, okay, as soon as power goes out, I swear to God, they start attacking each other instantly. All right. I've seen this so many times, and I know it. It wasn't just my family, it was literally everybody's. When the power goes out, the girls all start fighting with each other. Okay. But when the power goes out, eventually, if it's, daylight hours, people actually go outside and they start interacting because all of a sudden there is everything, just sitting in the house is boring. All right. So people go outside and they start talking to their neighbors and bullshitting and trying to have fun without the need for electricity. Just hope and pray you really don't have to. Just hope and pray you didn't have Taco Bell before the lights went out. God help you if you did. But predictive programming is a thing. It's there. It's incredibly accurate. Okay. I mean, you want to talk about getting on the nose? I don't even know exactly. Give me just 1 second. When the hell did Snake Eyes come out? Snake Eyes movie. 1998. And conveniently, it's incredibly close, at least in narrative, it's incredibly close to what went down with Charlie. All right. And this is the thing, history. I know people have said this before, all right, especially, feminists, female types who want her story. But his story is literally his story. Linguistically, there are words where the secret is literally right in front of your face. It's hidden right there. And people just mull over it. They don't even catch it. History is written by the victors. Conveniently, the victors are in all countries. All right. One side writes history to benefit themselves, the other writes history to benefit themselves. And if you look at the history books, like every 20, I mean, honestly, it used to be like 20 to 40 years. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they're rewriting history every 4 to 8, every presidential administration. All right. It would not surprise me. When it comes to what we've been told, all right, is true and factual, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. The majority of the time, we are led down the garden path to believe that certain things are, incontrovertible fact. And then it comes out later that it's complete bullshit. Okay? And that applies to everything. All right? Conveniently, narrative is always generated and reinforced, and the media is always pumped into your brains, especially when you're young and you don't have the full ability to question. You don't know all the angles to look for yet. They feed you in a line of shit. Your brain naturally accepts it. You take it, you run with it, and then 20, 30 years later, you realize that that was bullshit and you know nothing. And now you have to go back and try to figure out, all right, how much of everything I know is bullshit. And then you realize, oh my God, you know, you have those epiphanies. All right, the epiphanies that make you roll back time to think, like, oh my God, it's all been bullshit since the 1900s. And then you have another epiphany when you realize that history has been bullshit from the 1900s to the 1800s, and the 18 to the 17, 17 to the 16. And then you find out that literally all of history is a fraud. Okay? Nobody knows shit. The only people who know shit are the people who ensure that you get a certain narrative that gets printed in the books, that's in the tabloids, that's in the media, the newspapers, everything, and that gets pumped out en masse. All right, mass messaging, that shit will get just cranked out left and right, honestly. The only thing that could legitimately set the record straight are independent writers over time, assuming their works survive, which isn't always guaranteed, of course. A lot of the times, books get burnt or lost to history. And then all of a sudden it's just like, well, shit, all we have is the common narrative. And then some guy finds some clay pots in a desert and, well, time to rewrite everything again. Back to the point. I do it. The system is doing predictive programming for it. They're trying to get you ready for what's coming. Now, we don't exactly know what the hell is coming. But we know that if we run into one of those apocalyptic scenarios, EMP, maybe somehow we survive, pockets of humanity survives a fucking asteroid. All right. Maybe the sea levels rise again. All right, time to purge the Nephilim. Anyway, if we run into an apocalyptic scenario, the only way that individually people are going to be able to survive I'm tripping over my words again, is if they come together in some form of a collective. It is going to be that tribal system. We're going to go back to that. Modern civilization is built on so many lies, and there are so many problems that still persist. We've printed over a lot of the problems. We've inflated a way to move money to cover up a lot of problems, but we never fix a goddamn thing. All right, so the financial system could collapse, specifically the banking system, and then the rest of the financial system afterwards. EMPs, fucking aliens invade. All right, legitimately or bullshittedly. You never know. Bigfoot might lead a rebellion and try to kill all of us. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. All right. It's the thing. It's an oddity that in the Fallout games they had the Wild Wasteland perk. At the very least in New Vegas. I don't know about Fallout 3, but that weirdness, that little salting of shit that just fucking bends your perception out of reach, where it's just like, all right, this is odd. This is really odd. All right, shit's fucked. All right, you've got to prepare. Okay, this is not. This is not a well. Maybe I'll get ready for anything possibly big to happen. This is you have to prepare. We all know it. We all feel it. I know you feel it. Everybody feels it. Something is coming. That weight over everybody. All right, and we've all largely known it since COVID and after COVID. We know something big is coming. We know there's a major shift. We know that something is going to break. We just don't know what yet. But when it does, we're not going to have a civilization anymore. I mean, you could argue we barely have a civilization now. All right, the fact that the entire labor system is shot, the entire financial system is shot, all the incentives are gone. The incentives that actually give people a reason and a point and purpose to actually work and suffer to prop up this fucking dying civilization. All those incentives have left. They're all traps. Shiny new car is a trap. House is a trap. Girlfriend slash wife is a trap. Everything's a trap. Okay. I can't tell you what to do. Okay. I can't tell you what to do. I can throw out advice to people all day long, and if they don't listen, it is what it is. Good luck. But you know it. I know it. Everybody else knows it. We're on the verge of something likely catastrophic. And when it hits, whatever that might be, when it hits, The only way that we are going to survive is by forming tribes again and relying on each other. Those who try to go the lone wolf route aren't going to make it. Take from this what you will. This has been Michael from Spades Consulting. If you're interested in personal or business advice, www.spadesconsulting.com without the dash. If you're interested in written content, check out the Substack linked below and in the nav on the website. That way. If you like and appreciate the video, like, favorite, sub, share, leave a comment, hype it, ring the bell, ding the bell, tickle the bell, do all the things to your heart's content to the bell. And I will see you all next time.